Team Vitality has done it. Zywoo, Apex and the org as a whole have finally claimed their first Katowice trophy after years of attempts. But more importantly, they sent a message. They made Donk, the #1 player in the world, bleed in a decisive 3-0 victory. Turns out signing a big new player to your team doesn't have to equal immediate growing pains. Well, so long as that player is Ropz. Katowice wrapped up this past Sunday, and it was not what I was expecting. Listen, I don't think anyone was expecting Donk to just waltz in and pick up the trophy. His opponent was Zywoo after all, but for the exact opposite to happen, and for Team Spirit to get clapped the way they did as the #1 team with the #1 player, a pretty damn notable underperformance. Donk, Magix, and the rest of the team of course showed some signs of life, but it wasn't even close to what was needed. Donk went from breaking records at this same event just last year to putting up one of his worst series ratings as a professional player. It was truly the Ropz and Zywoo duo that stole the spotlight. But before we break it down, let's do a quick recap of the playoffs. As Devin said in our previous video, there were 3 unlikely teams looking to pull off a heist on one of the biggest stages in Counter-Strike. And the show kicked off with Mongols and Eternal Fire, 2 teams who have been showing a lot of promise recently. I'd still say that Mongols came in as the underdogs, but they quickly silenced any doubters after taking a 2-0 victory against the Turkish squad. Mirage did go pretty deep into overtime, but Mongols were able to wrap it up and improve upon their recent result from the Shanghai Major. Unfortunately, that didn't last too long as they fell to Vitality in the semis, thanks in large part to all of Vitality firing on all cylinders. A level of performance that would just continue into the grand finals, especially from the likes of Zywoo and Ropz. Still, respect is due to Mongols, who seem to be improving at each big event they participate in, this time putting up the furthest run in Asian CS history since Tyloo way back in 2019. The semi-final appearance at Katowice is nothing to scoff at. As for Eternal Fire, not the result they were looking for. As good as Xantara's has been this whole tournament, he can't do it all, and unfortunately he was kind of on his own this series. On the other side of the bracket, we had Spirit facing off against Virtus Pro, a team rising from the ashes after parting ways with their former IGL Jame. But there's not a lot to say with this one. They were missing Flammus, but I'm not sure how much of a difference he would have been able to make, especially when you get Magix playing as good as he was. But that victory meant Spirit would yet again face a familiar foe in Na'Vi. Na'Vi were able to get some revenge from Shanghai after knocking Spirit down to the lower bracket. Spirit and Donk clearly took exception to that and would not let Na'Vi best them twice at the same event.
Desperately trying to cling on to this series, but these are the dying breaths. It's all down to the captain, and Spirit have his number. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. When all is said and done, it is only the Spirits left standing.
Now, as the casters and analysts said after the match, this is now proving to be one of the biggest growing rivalries in CS2, though right now it is also quite one-sided. Donk casually dropping 30 bombs on you in the semi-finals must not feel too great, and Na'Vi will have to find a way to slay this dragon, because I really doubt this will be the last time they meet like this. Though I'm sure Alexi B and co can take some solace now knowing what was in store for Spirit in the grand finals, because boy, this was a whooping. The beauty of a best of 5 is that it gives teams a way back in even when things seem completely lost. The issue is when teams can't even find a spark. It just becomes tough to watch. Things started off horribly with Donk going without a frag 5 rounds in, but in classic Donk fashion, he turned things around with an insane play with the Deagle. We might have been only a split second away from the kid getting activated, but yeah.
Kid in the smoke, this is still doable.
The first. Presented with resistance for Vitality, and on cross, Shiro, hasn't connected. They will get across. Time-sensitive mission, Dogs D does 4, and they could still lose the round. He has the kill, has the smoke, it's an ult for Shiro. This gets awkward, this gets really awkward, really quick. He's spinning around him, painted circles, and shut the fuse. Dogs, Deagles mean nothing.
Now, I'm not sure if that's the play that deflated him, as it was only a partial buy, but those deagles would pretty much be the end of Donk's presence on Dust 2, as Ropz would just take over and shut Spirit down round after round, something that clearly seemed to be getting into Donk's head. Spirit managed to make the end of the half close, but despite another crazy pistol play, Vitality stepped up time and time again to shut them out.
More action on Ropz in mid. Shiro looking to test him, challenge him. You can't get past Robin's Ropz! The last man to fall on Dust 2, Robin Coull.
Things didn't get much better on map 2 for Spirit. Donk did manage to perform better, but the rest of his team couldn't support him against Ropz and Zywoo. Map 3 was Spirit's last chance to get back into the series and possibly turn things around, and while it did go the distance thanks in large part to Magic's, Donk was close at the bottom of the leaderboard and was just simply not playing to the quality we expect. Still, respect where it's due. Vitality put on a masterclass and silenced the most feared team in the game right now while barely breaking a sweat.
5 souls, 1 common goal, they have Spirit, they have Katowice, Vitality, revitalized.
Zywoo, of course, picked up yet another MVP award for his lights-out performance, hopefully reminding the CS world that he's still consistently one of the best to ever play the game. And now, with Pops on their team, winning another Kato, and so soon after joining a new team, if he keeps putting this up, it can prove to be one of the most important signings in recent memory. Also, shout out to Apex, who is continuing to prove his worth as this team's IGL, both with his leadership and fragging capability, which is something lacking on a lot of other teams right now. As for Donk, well, you can't win them all. Yes, Donk started and ended 2024 with a bang, and even napped first at Blast Bounty, but he is human, and from time to time he will underperform despite playing well the whole tournament leading up to this. But like we saw at Cologne last year, when he isn't playing at the top of his game, Spirit looks a little lost, even with Magic's and Shiro. For now, we'll just have to see how he bounces back from a brutal loss in a grand final like this. My guess is he might be out for blood, as it was clear just how f***ing gutted he was by this performance, even going so far as to spell out exactly how disappointed he was.
Donk, commiserations. What happened today?
No, we were just worse. Bad communication, bad decisions, bad aim, bad everything. We were just worse. They were better, so it made difference.
Well, that is a wrap on Katowice 2025. As I said, Spirit getting blown out like that was not on my cards, and we have barely cracked into this year. There's still a lot of Counter-Strike left. Let me know what you thought of the finals, how dangerous this new and improved Vitality squad can get, and what you think about this rare lowlight from Donk. Until next time.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring that notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit up our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages.